You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, but you can. Welcome to You're Not Gonna Make It, the show where I discuss threats that may prevent you from making it. I'm Kevin. Are you aware of how dumb weight loss drugs are? I know literally my first episode of this was about Ozempic, but I fucking hate weight loss drugs so much, you guys. I need to bitch more. So that's the topic, weight loss drugs. And if you don't know, I'm talking about stuff like Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, whatever else there is. What these do is alter your metabolism, appetite, or your fat absorption to help you lose weight by force. It's kind of like forcing yourself to become anorexic. And I think these types of things are called anorectics anyway, so that makes sense. The most popular form of this is the GLP-1 agonists, which I'm not gonna lie, I've heard this a million times. I never looked up what GLP stands for. I don't really care. The point is, people are taking drugs, they're injecting themselves, and it's fucking up their brain and their body so that they're not very hungry, so that they don't eat that much, and then they lose weight that way. Right off the bat, if you can't see a problem with that, you're probably fucking stupid. Or desperate, I don't know. And yeah, let's get this out of the way. There is a part of me that's kind of like, damn, these people are cheating. Because I lost 100 pounds myself. So when I see people injecting, losing weight, part of me is like, wow, that looks easy. I wish they kind of went through what I had to go through. Not in a way that I want them to suffer. It's that I learned a lot in my experience. And I feel like these people are getting shortchanged in their weight loss. Does part of me wish I had this when I was younger? I mean, if you asked me when I was a fucking teenager, I'd probably say, oh, sure, yeah. But with hindsight, I think it's fucking great that I went through that, because that discipline, that habit building, it carried over to everything. I would be a completely different person if I had these drugs. I'd still be like a fat, lazy piece of shit. Now I'd be just a lazy piece of shit instead of fat. So no, I don't wish I had that as an option. And yeah, I kind of do want people to go through the actual process, because it'll help them learn how to keep the results. So yeah, sure, let's get this out of the way. For all the people who are saying, you just want people to suffer, you don't think it's legitimate, blah, blah, blah. Little bit. Mostly, nah, it's just not a great way to do it, I think. But sure, just, maybe like 5% that, sure. The main reason I'm not a fan of these weight loss drugs is what I just said. You kind of miss out on building the habits and making sure this kind of thing lasts forever, your weight loss. It's like the people who get liposuction and then they gain the weight back because they didn't learn anything from the experience. They just got the fat sucked away. Same for gastric bypass or whatever. You kind of force the weight loss to happen. Now, these things may work for people. You might get lipo, you might get a bypass surgery, and then you might just be on your merry way, never get fat again. But those experiences don't really teach a person how to lose weight, the science behind the thermodynamics of calorie counting and all that stuff, which is fairly simple, honestly. They just skip to the end, and then the person just keeps on living their life, the life that made them fat to begin with. So you see where the issue comes in. But beyond that, there are a lot of other side effects, which I'll get into in a bit. But here's where we are now. So Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, and some other shit, they're becoming household names. I see ads for this shit on subway platforms. Just last week, I saw this ad while waiting for the subway of this overweight woman injecting herself, and it's like, lose weight quick. I'm thinking, fuck me. This became common real quick. The demand is skyrocketing, of course, because, wow, we get to lose weight easily with no effort. Holy shit, yeah. You know what's wild? I forget which comedian said something like this, but basically the whole rise of these weight loss drugs shows that the body positivity movement was full of shit. Remember that movement from 5-10 years ago, whatever it was, where people were like, yeah, being fat is beautiful, it's amazing, it's healthy. But, as soon as you can lose weight with no effort whatsoever, you're all doing it. You never wanted to be fat. It was a gigantic coping mechanism, this whole movement, or lack of movement, I should say. I mean, at the very least, society's coming back around to the idea that being overweight is not good. So that's cool. But the way they're dealing with it, it's not cool. A lot of these things are becoming popular in social media as well, these injections, and that's driving interest as well. Every time I see this shit on Instagram or any other social media, I say, not interested. Don't fucking show me this shit again. There are people out there like, hey guys, here's where to get fucking the GLP-1 meds. Get that shit on my fucking face, Zuckerberg. I don't want to see that. I'm constantly talking shit about weight loss drugs, so I have no idea why algorithms send that shit my way. And people are so desperate, they're doing off-label stuff as well. I listened to a podcast where one of the hosts is like super fat. He's doing like this Chinese knockoff of Ozempic, and it's not working too well. But people are just going crazy shit. They're just going crazy, doing weird shit, all because they just don't want to track their calories. That's the main thing. They don't want to do the work, and they don't have the patience for it. Maybe they can track their calories for a week, but they don't have the patience to do it for months, maybe years, depending how overweight you are. They don't have it. They can't do it. Patience is not there. It's ironic. These people don't have patience, but they will become patients. I'm sorry. I'm addicted to just finding puns and wordplay. I'm sorry. But to throw a number your way instead of words, I will tell you that this market is expected to reach $100 billion, $100 billion with a B, by 2030. It's 5 years away. So this is not going away. Who's the biggest victim of this stuff? Overweight people, of course. Actually, I think probably people who are slightly overweight or not overweight might suffer from this. I can imagine, hey, you can lose more weight with no effort. There'll be people who are maybe a normal weight, but they have body dysmorphia of some kind and they want to lose even more weight, get close to underweight. I'd imagine they might use that too. Because the whole point of these drugs is they make you not feel like eating. This food noise is a huge issue for people. I remember one of the funniest things that's ever happened is that I talk shit about weight loss drugs online, saying that they fuck up your body and your mind to make you not hungry. And that's how you lose weight, because you're forcing yourself to not eat. And then I got a comment, one of the funniest comments I've ever seen in my life. They replied to me saying, a person who has never been overweight and tried to lose weight nor experienced food noise. I about fucking exploded with laughter when I saw that shit. That bitch was crazy. As someone who lost 100 pounds and still deals with what they call food noise, as in, hey, it'd be cool to eat right now. Yeah, I understand. I understand this very well. The thing is, I also understood that getting to a healthy weight is possible and doable and controllable by me. So I did that, and I still do that to this day. But for some people, the food noise is too loud. You know what? Fair enough. It's hard. It is tough. And if your environment is working against you, it's even tougher. You know, if your family eats a bunch of shit, your friends are just fat losers who eat Cheetos all the time, it'll be tough, for sure. But to say that the drug is the only way around this is fucking stupid. So dumb people are also at risk of, using weight loss drugs. Desperate people, people who truly, truly, truly think that their body is special, their body breaks the laws of thermodynamics and calorie counting doesn't work for them, and that drugs are the only way. Basically, people who are desperate or dumb or impatient are the ones who fall for this, mostly. So let's step on the statistical scale and look at some numbers. Shall we? 15 to 20%. That's how much weight loss clinical trials show with some of these drugs. Now, in real life, this differs because a lot of people experience plateaus after the initial success of the drug. And you can imagine why, because they don't learn shit. And as I mentioned before with liposuction and some other surgeries, some people actually go back to the initial weight that they were at before they got the surgeries. Why, you ask? Well, as like a broken record, I'll say they didn't fucking learn anything. Some of them are so rich, they don't give a shit. I imagine there are some people out there who are like, I'll just eat whatever I want. I'll get liposuction every 2 years. If you have that mindset, yeah, hey, if you're rich enough, whatever. I don't know. That's a weird way to live, but maybe I'm too broke to understand. Maybe effort is for broke people, peasants. But it doesn't surprise me that, a lot of people experience plateaus, even rebound with Zepbound. For me, I had to understand that my body needed a certain amount of energy and I need to reduce that amount of energy a certain amount until my body adjusted and adapted to that new amount of energy, and then it became closer to what I wanted it to be. And to this day, I still understand that if I eat like a person who is 300 pounds, I will become that way. If I eat like a person who wants to be, 170 pounds, my body will become that way. That's literally how it is. You fake it till you make it. That's what losing weight is. You eat the calories of a person of the weight that you want to have, and you will become that person. So if you don't understand what it takes to change in that way, then if you take a shortcut surgery, well, your habits are just going to bring you back to where you started. 44% of Wegovy users report nausea, 30% experience diarrhea, and 24% suffer from vomiting. That sounds horrible. Not only are these drugs expensive, or they can be, but you're going to have to pay with your body's fluids, I guess. About 1/2 experience nausea. That is insane. Might as well suffer from being a bit hungry from not eating so fucking much. Damn, this sounds worse. In terms of the dropout rates, about 1/4 of patients stop these medications in the first year due to the side effects. And imagine, vomiting and diarrheaing so much is probably it's not appealing for most people. And we come to probably the most underrated or rather, I should say, least talked about side effects of these drugs. So normally when you lose weight, you eat less and your body shrinks. That's basically what it is, right? Now, ideally, when you're losing weight, you want to exercise, so you keep a lot of strength and muscle on your way down, because when you lose weight, you lose body fat, you lose, water, a little bit of bone mass sometimes, and a little bit of muscle. But if you exercise properly when you're losing weight, you will retain a bunch of muscle and lose weight in a healthy way. The issue with these drugs is that most people, say it with me, they don't fucking learn anything. So when they're losing this weight, they're not making any kinds of changes to become healthier, such as exercising or whatever. If you're a fat, lazy piece of shit and you get on these drugs, you're just going to lose weight. You're still going to be a lazy piece of shit. And the result of this is that you're going to lose a lot of lean muscle mass along with that fat. So you're just going to become more like a skeleton. You're not going to become a fit person just by not eating. That's not how it works. You need to exercise as well. You need to eat properly too. There's this issue that I think is going to crop up where the health of a lot of these people who take these drugs is going to get worse than before, possibly. Like, cut out the multiple issues that obesity causes, and I think they're going to have a lot of other issues. And let me explain. So if you're really overweight, like really, really overweight, you probably eat dog shit, right? You eat a bunch of Twinkies, Doritos, Cheetos, hot dogs. Maybe you have some chicken here and there, right? So, maybe you get some decent stuff like chicken and eggs in there, but the majority of what you're eating is dog shit, right? Now with these drugs, they make it so you eat less. Now notice I said eat less and not eat better. So now what I think is going to happen is a lot of people are going to eat less, but a lot of the stuff that they're eating is still going to be dog shit. So instead of eating, let's say 2,000 calories of Twinkies and maybe 200 calories of eggs, they'll just be eating 1,700 calories of Twinkies. So they're eating less dog shit, but that's all they're eating because they didn't understand proper nutrition. They didn't learn it. That's not what these drugs do. They don't teach you anything. They just make you not hungry. So I predict a lot of people in the future are going to be not fat, but they're going to be fucking dying. We're going to have a lot of weird zombies in the future. That's what I think. Because the nutrition is not going to change. It's just going to become a smaller amount, but it's still going to be dog shit. So you're going to have all these people who they're not exercising, they're not eating properly, they're just eating less. So their insides are going to be mush, they're going to have no muscle, and that's going to cause a lot of other issues. Anyway, let's get to the actual number. So up to 40% of weight loss on these drugs may come from lean muscle mass rather than fat tissue. That's fucking alarming. That's insane. So about 1/3 of the weight you may lose on these drugs if you don't exercise at all It's going to come from muscle. Now, to be fair, if you just eat less in general and don't exercise at all, you're also going to lose a bunch of lean muscle mass, but I think you lose more with this because the weight loss is forced here. You're not making any adjustments that may inadvertently lead to better fitness. You're just eating less. Now, there's a rebound effect. Like I mentioned, you rebound with Zepbound. Studies show 66% of lost weight returns within about a year of stopping the medication. Who fucking knew? Take away the shortcut, go back to your normal habits, or rather, you never stopped your normal habits, and you go back to how you were. Wow, it's almost like, fucking diets, basically. This is a forced caloric deficit. It's a diet you can inject, but even worse, because you're still eating the shit that got you fat to begin with. Now, I didn't know about this, but apparently a lot of these medications have neurological effects too, and about 10% of users report depression or anxiety. I don't know if it's from the drug itself, the chemicals from the drug. Could be other reasons, maybe just the process of changing your body, or maybe the guilt from doing it a shitty way. I don't know. And I should have waited to talk about the zombie issue before, but now we're getting to the stat regarding nutritional deficiencies. So, a significant reduction in calorie intake can lead to, vitamin and mineral deficiencies in like 1/5 of the users. So like I was saying before, usually when you're losing weight, you kind of are learning how your body can thrive, actually. So you'll be making better choices overall. Not perfect. You won't become a nutritionist or an athlete overnight when you're losing weight. But in the process of losing weight, you're probably going to figure some stuff out that's going to be better for you. But if you just inject yourself, you're not going to learn shit. You're just going to eat less, which means you'll be losing out on the maybe 10% of the decent food you used to eat. Maybe it'll be 1%. A lot of the people looking for short-term fixes they're gonna have a rude awakening in a couple years, I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure these drugs were around for a while, but they've only exploded in popularity recently. And I fucking hate it. Even if I did not help people lose weight myself, I would still hate this shit. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm gonna be replaced. No. I don't give a shit about that. There are people who are basically doing something like liposuction at home, but less effective and with more side effects. And this is not even getting into the cost of this stuff. Without insurance, this shit costs $1,000 a month or more. You want to pay Midwestern rent because you don't want to make any changes whatsoever. That's fucking crazy. By the way, with this stuff, plastic surgery, liposuction, all this kind of stuff, you're not going to change your mentality. And I'm not talking about, your habits and stuff like that. If you hate yourself because you're fat, you're just going to hate yourself when you're less fat. If you were to go on this journey yourself, slowly, naturally, it's possible you may grow to appreciate your body, its adaptation, the changes you've made, the improvements you made, and you'll grow to appreciate yourself more. But again, if you take a shortcut, you're not actually working on anything. Mentally, you're still going to fucking hate yourself. Probably because mentally you haven't changed. There are tons of reports of people who go through plastic surgery because they think it'll make them feel better about themselves, and it doesn't work out that way. They still fucking hate themselves because they didn't do any mental work. Now, when you go through a weight loss journey, I got to tell you, a lot of physical changes happen, but there's a lot of mental work that happens. There's a humongous mental journey that goes through it. Most of weight loss is mental. You need to make the correct choices. You need to make the correct changes. You need to live with those for months, for years, maybe forever. That changes a motherfucker. Okay? So if you went through this naturally, you might hate yourself less. Now, I won't lie. A lot of people who lose weight, they still kind of hate themselves. They have that body dysmorphia. They're like, oh, it might never be enough. I'll never love myself. I need to get fitter, thinner. That still exists. But what I'm saying is you have a better chance of appreciating the one body that you have if you go on that journey with it. If you inject self-control, there are no guarantees in any actual improvement. So I don't recommend this shit at all. And I'll tell you this, if in the future, let's say these drugs, they get them to a place where they have absolutely zero side effects. I don't know if that's possible because you're fucking up and tricking your body to not be hungry. So I feel like there's always going to be some side effect with that. But let's pretend no side effects whatsoever. You just inject, take a pill, you're not hungry anymore. I don't know. If that is that's. I mean, there's nothing bad about it. So I guess maybe I'll make a big ass apology about saying, fine, do it, whatever. I mean, I still recommend not doing it, but I'll talk less shit about it for sure. But as of now, there are way too many side effects that are just going to result in bigger and different problems later on. So I wouldn't recommend doing it. Here's what I recommend instead. Track your calories. And that's it. Now, for a lot of people who use this, let me, okay. There is an argument to be made. If you're on the show, 600-pound life, you weigh 900 pounds, maybe this could be useful for you to stop you from dying tomorrow. But even then, I hesitate to even say that because in those situations, those people are still bed bound. They can't do this shit to themselves, make themselves gain weight. They have enablers who are giving them extra food. So they still, at that point, don't need the drug. So I can't think of a legitimate situation where this would be recommended. Just doing a drug instead of doing literally anything else. I don't know. Okay, here's one. Let's say there's a person you love. They will not fucking stop eating. And they're gonna, they told you, I'm gonna keep eating until I fucking die. Fuck you. I love being fat. And you're like, damn, that sucks. Maybe every week in the middle of the night, you inject them with something and then they don't eat as much because they're going to kill themselves otherwise. Maybe then, that might be one fucking cartoonish situation. But yeah, man, in general, don't do this shit. I wouldn't even recommend it as a temporary thing. Just if you got time to try out drugs, you got time to try out caloric deficits, different foods, tracking your food in just any way whatsoever. Like I said, you gain so much from this. You gain so much discipline. You gain the skill of habit building, the skill of habit changing. You develop a better relationship with your body because you've gone on a journey with it. In Lord of the Rings, when Sam and Frodo go all the way to Mount Doom, their relationship deepens. You're Frodo, and Sam is your weight loss journey. It's gonna be so, or rather, it's your body, I guess. Whatever. Sam is your body. You're gonna have a way better relationship with your body if you go through something with it. You make these changes with it. Imagine Frodo just teleported to Mount Doom. His relationship with Sam wouldn't really change that much. It would just be cool when he got back to the Shire saying, hey, I did it. That'd be cool, but he wouldn't they wouldn't have learned anything about each other, wouldn't have grown as people. Go on the journey. It'll help you out. You'll find that discipline comes in handy in every other part of your life. Please try it out. While everyone else is becoming a weird drug-addicted zombie with shit nutrition and no exercise habits, you can become a healthy, fit adult. You'll be 55, you'll be decent, they'll be dying still for different reasons than the overweightness, over the obesity. And even better, maybe you can become an example for them too. You can lead by example. They offer you drugs. Remember DARE. They offer you drugs. You say, no, I'm just going to eat less. Just do it. Just try, please. You don't want would you give your kids fucking, whatever. I actually read things recently about kids being on these drugs. So yeah, I guess you would give your kid drugs, right? Whatever. Please don't. Please go to a calorie calculator, put in your information, find out how many calories you need to maintain yourself. Eat about 300, maybe 500 calories under that per day, maybe 600 if you're really overweight, 700 maybe. Figure it out. Find out what works for you. Go on that journey. Do that for weeks, months. Keep track of your weight, take pictures. And that journey will be much, much, much more beneficial than paying $1,000 for drugs that you will have to keep being on if you want those results. You're basically leasing those results. You're not owning them. If you want to own them, eat less. And then maybe you'll make it. But if you take a bunch of weight loss drugs, I don't think you're going to make it. Let me know in the comments. Do you take any drugs? If so, why? That's not cool, man. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to this so that you can make it, and I'll see you next time.